Welcome to Halacha in a Year, where we can get to learn all the most relevant halacha through the prism of the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. You are listening to Rabbi Ya'akov Trump. This year is kindly sponsored by the Moshe Group and CA in zechus of Rivka Biela, bas נחמה Shifra, and in honor of Rabbi Trump. Today we're going to start learning the halachas of the 4 Parshios. This is Siman Kuf Mem, the 140th chapter in the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. We're now moving outside of our regular order into something seasonal because this relates to the month of Adar as we move towards Purim. The basic idea is that there are 4 special Parshios that supplant the regular Parshios, Haftorahs and Maftirs of the regular Parshios. So we bring out a special Sefer Torah to read a unique Maftir, and instead of the weekly Haftarah, a unique Haftarah is read for 4 weeks during the year. And these are almost 4 in direct succession. Let's jump straight in. What are the 4 Parshios? Their names are Shkalim, Zachor, Para, and Achodesh. Literally, the month of giving the shekel, which is giving the donation to the Mikdash, the remembrance of Amalek, the Para Aduma, the red heifer, and the Shabbos HaChodesh, the Parsha of Rosh Chodesh. Let's go through them one by one. When is Parsha Shkalim? So it is the Shabbos before Rosh Chodesh Adar, or Shabbos Rosh Chodesh Adar itself. This refers to Adar Sheni, the second Adar in a case where it is a leap year. What is the Maftir and Haftarah? So the Maftir for Shkalim is the first paragraph of Parshas Kisisa, which talks about collecting the half a shekel in the times of the Mishkan in the desert. And the Haftarah is found in Melachim Beis, Perek Yud Aleph and Yud Beis, and it talks about the story of Yehoiada, who is the Kohen Gadol, who encourages the newly minted king Yoash to spend time collecting money and revamping the Beis HaMikdash, upgrading the Beis HaMikdash in the times of the first Beis HaMikdash. Why is it read? So generally speaking, the Mikdash fund would have a public appeal which would be needed replenished by the Rosh Chodesh Nisan, by the beginning of the month of Nisan. This would start at the beginning of Adar, so Adar would be the month during which the appeal would take place in order to replenish the fund for the Karbonos. We do it as a zecher, as a remembrance and a commemoration to that, and many shuls also relate this to an appeal that they do relating to Ma'os Chitim, the food to help other Jews make Pesach, and also Matanos Levyonim, and for that is distributed on Purim as well. So this is a month of appeal, a month of tzedakah relating to these things as a zeicher for the times when the Beis HaMikdash this would be done as well. Let's move on to the next, or the second of them, which is called Zachor. When is Zachor? Zachor is always the Shabbos right before Purim. In a regular year, it's usually Parshas Tetzaveh. What is the Maftir of Torah? The Maftir is the last paragraph of Parshas Kiseitze, which reminds us about the commandment to eradicate Amalek. And Haftarah is from Shmuel Aleph Perek Tesvav, which is about King Shaul's attempt to wipe out Amalek and his failure to completely do so, and the danger of that misguided mercy on evil people. Why is it read now? So the reason is because Haman was a direct descendant of Amalek, in fact of Agag, who Shaul failed to kill, and we connect the theoretical, what seems to be a theoretical command of eradicating Amalek and evil, and then the results of failing to do so, which is almost the genocide of the entire Jewish people, which occurs in the story of Purim. When is Para? We move into the next third of these. The Para is always read the Shabbos before HaChodesh, so it doesn't have its own rule. It is immediately the Shabbos before HaChodesh, so sometimes it could be the week after Purim, sometimes it could be a gap, just depending on the constellation of Shabbosim. Now, what is the Maftir and Haftarah? The Maftir is the first Aliyah plus a little bit in Parshas Chokas, which talks about the Para Aduma, the red heifer, which was a cow, which was shechted, and its ashes were mixed into special purified water that had not become tameh, and that was used to cleanse a person from coming into contact with a dead body. The Haftarah is read from Yechezkel Perek Lamed Vav, which describes HaKadosh Baruch Hu promising to purify the nation of Israel and bring them back to the land of Israel. Why is it read? So in the desert, the first paradum was shechted, and its ashes were used to cleanse the people in the month of Para, just in the month of Adar, just before Nisan, before they commemorated the inauguration of the Mishkan, so that people could bring korbanos then. So as a commemoration of that original paraduma, we do it as well. Also a supplication that in the future we should also be able to be cleansed and return to Israel, like the Haftarah describes. We move to our fourth of the 4 Parshios, which is Shabbos HaChodesh. When is it? It is always the Shabbos just before Rosh Chodesh Nisan, or if Rosh Chodesh Nisan is on a Shabbos, it is that Shabbos Rosh Chodesh Nisan. What is the maftir and the haftarah? The maftir comes from Shmois Perek Yud Beis, which is the central part of Parshas Bo, and it is the command to bring the Korban Pesach and to count the Hebrew calendar from the first month of Nisan, from the time of Exodus. The haftarah is from Yechezkel Perek Mem Hey and Mem Vov. It is the prophecy about the Jews in Israel coming back and rebuilding the new Beis Hamikdash and bringing the Korbanos, bringing the Korban Pesach in that Beis Hamikdash. Why is it red? So the Rosh Chodesh Nisan, sanctifying the month of Nisan, starting the year around, counting from Exodus, was the first national command the nation of Israel received of HaChodesh Hazeh Lochem, and we remember it around that time that we start that new cycle of the year itself, and we commemorate it by this special parasha. If Shabbos Shkalim or Shabbos HaChodesh are on Shabbos Rosh Chodesh, how does it work exactly with the Torahs? So we bring out 3 Sefer Torah in such a case. The first Torah is we crunch all the 7 aliyahs of the regular parsha into 6 aliyahs. With the 7th aliyah we use Rosh Chodesh from Yom HaShabbos, and then the maftir is from that's unique parsha, which is either Shkalim or HaChodesh with its haftarah as well. So in this case, that Shabbos Rosh Chodesh does not get its special haftarah. Is there a special status to the 4 Parshios? The answer is yes. Zachor and Para are considered mitzvahs mid'oraisa, biblical requirements to be read. The Zachor is specifically because the Torah says you're not allowed to forget that what Amalek did to you, and we know that it takes 12 months for memory to fade to a certain degree. So every 12 months you have to read it publicly in such a way, in such a constellation, in a minyan. So therefore, it is important for everybody to be initial for Parashas Zachor and certainly a Parashas Para as well. It's for this reason that although it's technically speaking a young man who's below Bar Mitzvah can actually lay or get an aliyah for a haftarah or a maftir, for a Zachor and for Para he should not. And this also becomes questionable if there's a Bar Mitzvah which happens to be on Parashas Zachor or Parshas Para. It should be a question should be asked, because sometimes Bar Mitzvah boys may 13 but not actually reach physical puberty, and a question needs to be asked as to whether they should get that maftir as well. With this, we conclude the overview of the month of Adar and the 4 special Parshios which converge upon this month. With this, we conclude. Have a wonderful and meaningful day.